age group. And I moved to the US to study for my master's degree in sports psychology, and I also have another degree in psychology. I'm excited to share my knowledge and my personal experience with you to improve your performance. My passion is to teach high performance in sports and how to get in your zone and optimal performance state. So let's dive in. So I will share my short journey with you first. I'm from Budapest, Hungary, and I've been a mental performance coach for 14 years. I'm training the mind. I'm a mental trainer. I'm an author, and I published a couple of books on mental toughness, and I founded my own business that offers performance coaching for athletes and organizations. Last but not least, I'm a professional table tennis coach. As a table tennis student athlete at age 14, I was a European champion in teams. I was also one of the top ranked table tennis player in Europe under age 18. And after completing my master's degrees in psychology and sports psychology, I was also ranked top 10 in the US. I learned about the Game Face program through my sister, who played tennis professionally at Berkeley in California and was coached by Kathy Toon. The concept comes from tennis. It investigated what differentiates the best tennis players from the rest. And what they found is their mental toughness that is related to how they use their time between points. So it's good to know why you're doing what you're doing. So I'm going to share why I'm a mental performance coach. This life path emerged for me very young because I was lucky enough to engage in high level and high stress athletics. By the age of 14, I was working hard to make the Hungarian national team, picture above. And once I made it to successfully as an individual player and a team, as a team, I was trying to balance competition, school, and my personal life, which was really hard since I went to good schools and grades were very important to me and to my family. I also had physical stressors. I had broken my ankle and struggled to recover from that and return to my former playing condition. I also did not perform well at my first national team qualification tournament, a stressful beginning of for my national team debut. In hindsight, I was too physically tired because I was so nervous and stressed. I'm sure you all have felt that way in high stress situations. Your muscle tighten, you're thinking too much, and your body movement are no longer fluid, but feel heavy, jerky, or slow, and you freeze. So by age 14, I was encouraged to seek help from a sports psychologist. At first, I was highly skeptical, but it helped me to handle pressure and work on how to sleep better at night. I started developing my mental game, and it helped me become a better player and eventually allowed me to be one of the top players, top table tennis players in Europe under age 18. The amazing results not only delighted me, but also intrigued me about the field of sports psychology. I remember how the psychologist taught me how to use visualization when I was injured, how to prepare for tournaments, and how to pull myself back together after setbacks. I also learned new breathing techniques to keep me calm and focused on how to encourage myself in critical moments. However, one of the most critical ideas that changed my game and truly trajectory of my life was a book titled Flow in Sports by a world famous Hungarian psychologist, Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. Some of you might be more familiar with his central idea being in the zone. So the concept of flow is the mental state in which a person performing an activity is fully immersed in a feeling of energized focus, full involvement and enjoyment in the process of activity. Everything is easy and your strokes are fluid when you are playing. Even as a teenager, I recognized that I had been having flow state experiences during sport activities and over the course of my table tennis career. As I mentioned before, I became particularly interested in flow experiences, optimal performance. But the second I was interested in my research was mental toughness. How can you be tough and perform under pressure? Flow, optimal state, and mental toughness are related topics. Handling competitive anxiety in sports by athletes is an essential component of sports. Athletes can take many different approaches in deciding how to cope and control their stress level, impacting their performance. How do the best athletes deal with the pressure of competition? They have mental toughness. Mental toughness is a psychological edge that helps you to cope better during competition, training, and life, to be more consistent, focused, and confident, and ultimately better than your opponent under pressure, and bounce back quickly after challenges and setbacks. For example, even when a player misses an easy ball in a critical moment in sport, if they are tough, they don't fall apart. They shake it off, reset, and they keep going. You can learn and develop these skills. I have found that that separates the best athletes from the rest is their mental toughness. The best athletes and professionals can deal with their nerves under pressure when they need it the most. Often plans don't go the way that you expected them. Players might get injured, have unexpected obstacles, but you must keep going and be able to adapt to achieve their goals. They need resilience to be able to achieve any goals, and this is what mental toughness is about. Whether it's on the court or off the court, it's not just about winning or losing. It's about going back every time. The bottom line, what I'm hoping you are taking from this talk is that mental performance can be learned with training, but how? With growth mindset. With a mental attitude, you can improve your skills in anything. So in this webinar, I will talk about the Get Your Game Face On Like the Pros book. First, I will talk about the mind-body connection, the performance triangle, which is the principle of the Game Face program. Then I will share the 4R steps between points that will help you handle pressure. And lastly, I will talk about the Game Face training program and how your healthy lifestyle choices affect your performance and well-being. Your mind and body are connected, and I will talk about the performance triangle first. Your thoughts, body language, posture, and feelings are connected. Your thoughts, feelings, and body language affect how you cope with stress. What you say to yourself, your body will likely follow. So self which can impact your feel. Positive thoughts have a positive effect on your performance, while negative thoughts will have negative impact on you. How you hold yourself, your body language affects how you feel level. Sports are physical, and how you hold yourself and your body posture matters. Everyone makes mistakes, and it's very important that you can keep your confidence level after you miss a shot. Lastly, your feelings affects your thoughts and body language as well. I will go over each of these quickly. So your emotions affect how you see things, thoughts, and body language. If you have positive emotions such as confidence, energy, optimism, and calmness, and optimal energy level, peak performance happens. Important questions to ask. How do you feel when you're playing well? You want to generate those feelings. You are playing poorly. You want to eliminate those feelings. And the first step is, as I said, it's important to have positive self-talk, and I listed here a couple of examples for you that you can apply under pressure. I can do hard things. I'm strong. I believe in. Come on, let's go. I'm dedicated and excited to play. And you also want to eliminate self-talk, such as "I cannot do this" when you play. Another secret weapon is keeping a strong body language. Play points and practice posture after every point. How you hold yourself affects how you feel and your performance and confidence level. Sports are physical, and how you hold yourself and your body posture affects your game and how you feel. Everyone makes mistakes. It's important that you keep your confidence level up. Smile and be positive after the point ends. When you have a confident body posture, your head is up, your shoulders up, and making a fist bump is also crucial. Stimulus response runs our life. When there is stress, there is a stimulus. And your response is based on how you feel and interpret the situation. If you think you can cope with the situation and feel confident, you will feel excited and go to the high road. You will under-pressure yourself and don't feel that you have the control. But the good thing is that you can learn to control your thoughts, feelings, and body language, which helps you to cope better with an important event. The game face routine will help you to cope tennis player Billie King Stack's message to Maria Sharapova before the young Russian won the 2008 Australian Open. Champions take chances and pressure is privilege. These were the that Billie Jean King sent advice that Sharapova used to face her stress. How it feel when they do their best in competition? They feel relaxed, confident, energetic, calm, focused. It has many names: flow, zone, and performance state, and so on. So it's also important what players do between points. To maximize performance on a game day, you need to prepare physically and mentally for the between point moments, those times when you are not actually playing a point. In going for peak performance, every second counts and needs to be trained. There are 4 stages between points, called the 4 R's: reaction, recovery, ready, and ritual. So where does this come from? Dr. Jim Loehr was one of the pioneers of early tennis, studying it for years, what differentiated the top players from the rest. 25 seconds between points in tennis. I will go through quickly on each steps in the next. So you can learn about these steps in the Get Your Game Face on Like the Pros. So the first stage is reaction. As soon as the point ends, there is a reaction. Have a strong, confident body posture, no matter of what. If a mistake has been made, use a mistake ritual to deal with it. Mistake rituals means that someone is doing physically the same thing after every mistake. That helps to basically move to the next point. It's very important. Say or think something positive or issue a challenge to yourself, and keep the 80-10-10 rule. I will explain the 80-10-10 rule in the next slide. So this is the first step, is the reaction. So how I said 80-10-10 rule is very important. So there are 3 basic ways to react to a point. Research points to ideal ratios for each type of reaction. We call this breakdown 80-10-10. Great athletes follow what we call the 80-10-10 rule. Here are the golden ratios for your reactions. So 80% neutral reaction, the majority of the time, it will serve you to stay neutral, right when the point ends. This is when your mind is quiet, your body language remains strong and confident. Someone watching your match would not able to tell if you just won or lost the previous point, but they would have a sense that things are going well for you because of your posture and positive energy. 10% of celebration. You're going to play some amazing points throughout the match. You are going to win some critical points that will help you gain momentum and confidence. Celebration is when you get pumped up at the end of a point. It might be a fist bump or yelling, come on. It takes experience to learn when to use bursts of positive energy in matches. This can be a huge weapon and can greatly influence the momentum of a match. And lastly, 10% of challenge response. We have all had matches where things are not going well. You can't get the rhythm, you miss an easy shot, you make too many loose errors, you're tired, you can't seem to get going at all. This is when you will want to use a challenge response. This involves release of energy in an encouraging way, perfecting the art of a challenge response versus dejected response will take time and practice. For example, let's say you missed a shot and you could say out loud, oh, that was terrible. Or you could say out loud, come on, you can make that. This subtle difference will have a very drastic impact on your body chemistry. The second option summons feelings, emotions that challenge you to execute a higher level of play. So in this step, it's also very good to find some role models, and everyone is different. So you also choose something that is related or suits with your personality. So the second step is, the first step was reaction, and the second step is recovery. It's basically maintaining a game face routine, competition, take a moment to recover as much as possible of the physical, mental, and emotional energy you expend during play. The recovery phase in table tennis between points has to be very quick. You have only a couple of seconds to do it. Breathing, walking away from the table, picking up the balls, wiping the table, wiping your paddle, wiping the floor and floor with your shoes, bouncing on your feet, and using your towel give you time to recover between points. Lack of a proper recovery step often leads to quick, anxious movements and thoughts between points. This can lead to problems with concentration, negative thinking, and nerves during competition. Less successful athletes often rush between points. In table tennis, poor performances will walk hastily to retire the ball and plunge right into the next point. Rushing between points robs them of the peace of mind necessary to perform at a high level. In contrast, successful players take their time, breathe, keep their eyes focused on one thing, and walk around at the end of the table and shake their arms or hands and bounce on their feet. The ability to recover gives you a decided and marked advantage. So best athletes have the ability to switch between points. The third step in your game face routine is readiness. It's about tactics. The purpose of this step is to ensure that you're mentally prepared for the action to resume. That is, you are aware of the situation and know your job, the upcoming point. We just learned about the importance of being able to switch off during your recovery. However, it is obviously essential to learn how to switch back on when the next point rolls around. You must be totally present and aware of the situation, and you must know your job during the upcoming action. Readiness usually takes place a few steps behind the table, or the magic spot, as we like to call it. It's a very quick step, and it only takes a couple of seconds. And you want to make sure while you're doing this, you're keeping a strong, confident body posture. This is where you get yourself present again in the here and now, and decide what needs to be done in the next point. You pause momentarily, assume a strong body posture, and briefly reflect, asking 2 questions. What's the situation and what's my job? In other words, you program your mental computer before you physically act. The 4th step is the serve and receive ritual or pre-shot routine, physical preparation right before the point happens. It helps to deepen the concentration. It is a crucial preparation right before the point happens. Right before the point resume, want to go stimulus response. Your best table tennis usually comes when you feel that things are automatic and just flowing without conscious thoughts. Your ritual helps you create that space. At this point, you should be totally present and focus on the point that is about to happen. There is a limited conscious thinking, especially about the technique. The goal is to perform instinctively and automatically, and rituals are designed to allow that to happen. As a server, begin your preparation and be sure you're precise with the pieces of your ritual and tweak things as you progress throughout the match. Every big players have very specific serve rituals. For example, T-Mobile bounces twice the ball on his paddle and takes a deep breath. Michael Mays doesn't bounce the ball right before he gets into the serving position. He looks at the opponent before he gets to his serving position. Malin also bounces on his toes, steps to the table, and bounces the ball on the table. And Wong Nan, world champion, bounces the ball 3 times on the table while she's looking at her opponent. So as a serve receiver, again, moving from the hot spot, you will be your ready position where you will return the serve. Begin your ritual here. Preparing your eyes is essential for good return. Find ways to help yourself be alert, but also relax. This position is unpredictable as you don't know what you are going to get. You need to master the art of responding to the serve. And I prepared now here a video that let's see examples, because I'm going to show other examples in other sports as well.
I too have
this is an example in tennis,
of course, especially before serve and everything. You know, I think it's important to have for players. You know, I do the ball between the legs. I feel like it gives your body, your mind, kind of a sense of calmness and of course it's muscle memory as well. You know, and as soon as I do this motion, my body kind of senses that okay, you know, it's ready to serve, ready to play. Special.
Everyone has a different serve ritual, and it's very specific.
Well, sometimes let's just simplify your game plan when somebody begins to spin it. You can't just push the ball around it. They'll crucify you. On top of those balls, hit through them 596 centimeters.
Water, didn't it? It's very just about business down the bottom now. That's another interesting element this evening, isn't it? The world into three. The band.
And not always very famous about his ritual. He's always doing the same thing. All right, so another thing, and I will also show another video here as a pre-shot routine. And just to give you examples regarding routines, not just in table tennis, but in basketball.
Your most memorable
the pre-shot
tradition. You know, a lot of people have certain routines, hit side of their face, hit their chest, bounce the ball a certain way. You think, do you remember all the time see on TV going, I know exactly what he's going to do right now, the free throw line?
The one that kind of annoyed me was Karl Malone. Karl Malone was no one knows. I don't know what he was saying. That's what annoyed me. I just like, what is he saying? No one knows what he said. Nobody understood what he was saying at the line, but he was speaking a lot. He wasn't telling nobody. No one knows.
I would say Rip Hamilton. He takes two bounces forward, then he brings it to the side, then he shoots the free throw.
Hamilton, a lethal shooter at 88%. I still couldn't figure out like how Jerry Stackhouse shoot the free throws and bend so low in both legs, and watching him really makes me hurting my legs.
Jeff Hornacek, when he said hello to his kids,
Hornacek really kind of scratched the side of his face, and I don't know if people were kissing that, but every time he got to the line, he would rub the side of his face. I think it was Alonzo Mourning. He would always touch his chin and his boot. I think it was his wristband. Yeah, it was wristband. Yeah. I think the one everybody recognizes now is Gilbert Arenas. I think Gilbert is, behind the back, go beyond his back, put the behind his back 3 times, and he kicks the free throw. Not too many guys go on their back. But this afternoon, we'll go on to win this game.
Right. And lastly, there is also, and this is the last video that I'm showing. Basically, it's in table tennis. It shows just the different rituals that is very quick and of course very individualized for everyone. But it's also important. You can see here the different routines, like using towel, wiping the table, breathing, ready, and bouncing on their feet, and the servant services. Serve ritual. Many times it's bouncing the ball, the same thing over and over. and everyone has an optimal pace between points. So in summary, the game is decided not only during the game, but also between points, stress regeneration. So between points time and playing time is a ritual act together, and therefore we need to look at it holistically. So the 4 hours only work at a consistent level if you have a holistic program. Biological, physical, mental, and daily life. They provide a foundation for the game phase routine you will employ during competitions. Your physiology is the base of your game phase training program. What you choose to eat, along with your sleeping habits, have a huge impact on these vital functions. Physical aspects involves the quantity and the quality conditioning and practice sessions. Mental preparation is also crucial. Lastly, daily life also affects athletes' performance. So this is the pyramid. And so the physiology is the foundation, the structural base for supporting the entire game phase system. Athletes work the same as cars. You have to take care of your car. You have to make sure that there is enough gasoline. Nutrition is key component of high performance training. The food you choose to eat will fuel your body, giving you the nutrients and energy you need to achieve your goals. The human body is between 70 and 80% water. Water is the most important for athletes. Along with food and water, sleep is one of the most important recovery tools for an athlete. If you don't have enough sleep, it affects how you cope with stress. Choose healthy habits and focus on what you can control daily and create healthy routines. So this was the physiological. The physical preparation is essential and involves practice and conditioning and rehearsing your 4 hours so it would become natural. Before you win, you must have to will to prepare to win. Conditioning your mind is essential. Self-talk is an internal dialogue with yourself. It can be out loud or inside your head. Self-talk affects performance and self-esteem. And positive self-talk increases self-worth and performance. Negative self-talk decreases self-worth and performance. Lifting up your thoughts builds mental strength. So this has to be trained as well. The other topic is concentration. Concentration or focus is a learned skill, which means paying attention to what is important in your game and blocking out distractions. Concentration means being in the here and now in the present. What situations do you lose focus? What is in your control and what is out of your control? Also know what are the important cues to focus on, such as the ball, the tactics, and breathing, for example. So it's key to focus on what you can control. And another great way to increase mental strength is visualization or imagery. Imagery is a mental rehearsal and can be used as a pre-performance routine right before or days an important competition. You can ask to recall your best performance. Imagine replaying that match or playing future match well. It's a good mental rehearsal. You can also ask a specific tactic to visualize or play at 10-10 and imagine yourself playing successfully. During imagery control, being able to imagine what you want is crucial as well to experience a vivid picture. That means that you can see colors and you can hear the sound and you can feel how you're holding your racket in your hand. So using all of your senses are also very important when you're doing visualization, and it's a great tool. And another important aspect in daily life is how athletes live their daily life. It involves time management skills. We need proficient time management skills in order to get everything. And academics and work is also very important. So important to manage your schoolwork and project deadlines. Fun, spend time with people who make you laugh. Watch funny videos, collect and share jokes. Also here, these are just a couple of examples to having fun. Relationships also very important. Look for a way to support the people who support you. Eat meals together and watch a movie. So relationships are also affecting athletes' life and performance. And lastly, the environment. Taking care of your environment is good for you and affects you in a positive way. Again, here is a quick summary that I shared with you today. So the 4 R's and game face training program. So the 4 R's is about the time between points that involves 4 steps: reaction, recovery, ready, and ritual. And the game face training program involves 4 lifestyle choices, such as the physiological, physical, mental, and daily life. And once you have your game face routine in place, it's time to support it, customized game face training program. So thank you so much for your attention. And I would like to hear your comments and questions.
Yes, that was so great. Thanks, Dora. I love the examples of the different routines in place. I always laugh at Nadal and what he does, and it's quite something what's going on over there. So that's pretty nice.
Yes, he had a very specific routine that is, yeah, what
he really
he's
does.
doing.
Yeah, so you talked about neutral reaction being 80% and celebration 10 and response 10. Like when I look at a young Japanese superstar that is in the top 5 of the world, it feels like that's not quite the case. It feels like the celebration is taking way over in regards to that.
Yeah, so there are always exceptions, and everyone is different. And even in technique, if you're talking about any technique, right? Some players have very different techniques. So it's basically also we are looking at players who have a different mental game, like McEnroe was always known about his outburst. So of course there are differences, and also I would say also there are cultural differences. Also, if you look at Asian players, they are a little different, right, than the Spanish players, or more the Mediterranean players. So I would say there are cultural difference in temperament as well, and personal differences as well. So that's why I was also saying that it's important to know how the person is and what's their temper. So there are differences regarding that, and finding basically some role models that is similar to your or the player's style. That can be a good thing to do.
Yeah, and you describe that. You describe it very nice in your book as well, about how just to that routine, and depending on where you are at the game situation. And Spider has a good question about that, is that you have that routine in place and whatever you need to deal with. So that's very nice. So Spider is asking the strategies. Do you have any strategies dealing with a game ball or match ball down? So you're 1 point away from losing the game or the match. How do you cope with that?
Yeah, so it's very important to be in the present moment. That's key. If there is a present moment, if someone in the present moment, there is no past or future, right? So the goal is to be able to basically stay in the present moment. And how you can do that, I said there is a mistake ritual, right? That is very helpful to help anyone to move on to the next point. That can be like looking at one spot and turn around and shake their legs and arms. That can help to release the tension or just forget about the mistake. That's a very good one, rather than just right after the mistake go back to the point and not clearing your head. That can be crucial. So to use those rituals, regardless if it's it's a match point or a match ball down, it doesn't matter. The ritual's purpose is that to use them regardless from the situation. So what happens regarding the rituals? Everyone has some rituals at higher level, and rather it's conscious or unconscious. And when there is a high pressure situation and someone is changing that ritual, that can be a problem. So that's when, if you also look at some players, if they start rushing in crucial moments, that's not good. So the goal is, even when there is a really high stake, they can keep what works for them regarding their ritual, what they do, and they perform their best. I don't know if I answered to the question.
Yeah, I have a follow-up question on that, because it's easy what you say, but I'm thinking
everything
about,
like it's very easy.
I'm like,
I know.
it's the World Championships point. I'm just winning against Fan Shedong, and I'm now 1 point away from losing the World Championships final. And the only thing I can think about is I need to win this point to win the World Championships final. So it's like, I don't think you can take that away from you, and I think that's the biggest issue. So how do you cope with that? And yeah,
I would say also, big performance happens when it happens just so easily, you don't even think about it. So that is in the moment. If you start thinking about winning, you already lost focus in the moment. So it's very important when you are playing, you don't want to think. You want to.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, it makes also sense.
I know it's very, and of course, when there is like, it's a really like a world championship and a really high stake, of course, there can be a quick thought, but thoughts are interfering with muscle movements. So if someone has too many thoughts, or even in a high pressure situation, your movement are not going the way that you want, not as well. It can still work, but it's way more fluid when there are no thinking. And I know it's a $1 million question, right? That how can you do that, like when the stake is so high, and just be, I would say, like, be in the moment, right?
Yeah,
but
thanks, Dora.
That's why I highlight rituals and routines, because you can control those. If you are basically just directing your attention to those rituals and you're doing those, you don't have time to think. It's even right before an important match, or right before an important event. If you have like a checklist, that's very good for athletes. If they have a checklist they do all over and over, you can just go through of them, and you don't have time to worry because you have to do those. So it can also help in the moment.
Yeah, and Spider has a follow-up question here for you: is ways to stop a choking spiral. Sorry, spiritual spiral.
Yeah, so I would say that movement are so crucial, not freezing. So choking happens when players are also freezing, like physically and mentally overthinking, like, right? They start thinking so too much. So I would say that a choking spiral can be intervened, or there can be some intervention when the player is feeling it, taking more time, and shaking their legs and arms, and movement is extremely important. Some players, although I have to say, it also helps them just to play quickly more points. So I've in table tennis, that's a little bit different. But the main thing is that I would say to prevent choking is the movement part, because choking happens when your muscles got tight. And breathing. Yeah, so breathing, movement, moving, and also saying some cue words like, you can do this, come on, move on, can be helpful. But as soon as someone is getting in this thought spiral, that's it's when somebody is really already in this thinking and negative thought spiral, it's very hard to get up from it. So as soon as some mistakes happens, I would say just to move on. It's very important. I don't know if I answered to that question as well. Match audience yelling and shouting. Yes, I mean, how to deal with noise during the match. So when someone is in the zone, you don't hear the noise. But I know it can be very, very annoying when somebody is somebody's shouting or yelling. But one of the things that I always do athletes that have a list that what you can control and what you cannot control. You cannot control the audience, right? So you want to direct your focus on the ball and on your routine again, and basically block out what's happening outside of the table. I know it's difficult, but table tennis players need a narrow focus. So just be on the table, and that this can be trained.
And I think you said it as well in your book. It's very nice that the training piece is really, really important. It's not just saying you have a ritual and you do it once in a match, but you actually train that. So you do, yes, I guess, in competition at the same time and all that. So I think that's really important to know too.
Yeah, so I would also recommend, if someone, for example, a young player, very disturbed, it's someone yelling very loud, this can be also trained by make him or her to play against players who are showing out loud. So that's also, the more they play against these kind of players, the more they can handle these. The bottom line with these distractions, when somebody can be very loud, but if someone can block this out and just still focus on the ball and the strategy on the movement, that's fine. But as soon as you get distracted, you can't focus on the game. That's a big problem. So this can be trained even during practice. There are some ways like playing with loud music during practice, or playing practice matches, and also training against players who are showing, basically, to get used to it.
Oh, thanks, Dora. And then we have a question from Karine. When it's the opponent that is yelling show and is very okay, so you said that just now, okay? You actually said that.
Yeah, you can show back. No, but actually, I have to say, when somebody is really loud, just turning away from the table and walking away from it a little bit and just resetting can be very helpful if you're staring at the person and you're just getting annoyed by that. But again, this can be trained. Regarding focus, it's if you are basically focusing on distractions, you lose focus, right? So also important to identify that what are the things when there is an important match or a game, what are the things you want to focus on and nothing else? If you do that, there can be distractions, but you don't, you deal with those because your target is to focus on those things. So that can also help to deal with any distractions.
Yeah, and we have Spider here, is I think the only one not table tennis related. Is I just put a link in the history of Cho, so Spider can watch the video and learn a little bit more why we're saying Cho is distracting. For a non-table tennis player, might not make sense. Okay, do we have any more questions? Any more questions? You can unmute as well if you like. I'll give you a few more seconds.
And another important thing I would say, until if anyone has more questions, that I always see the first step is awareness. So just know your distractions. The first step is knowing what works for you and what doesn't work for you. And after you can start working on skills to develop to be able to handle those situations. But the first step is knowing what you have to work on regarding your mental game.
Yeah. So then I have another question. So later this week, we'll post a video of Dora playing against the voice of the International Table Tennis Federation, Adam Bobrow. So how do you prepare for a game like that? And maybe you can go a little bit in detail, as that's just a fun side note here, that game. But for all the coaches that we have here, it's like, how do you start in preparing your athletes, you know, in the training? Do you have the conversation first with them, talking about what do you feel like? How do you like your coaching? How do you like your ritual? And that's how build that. So maybe a tiny little step by step on how you would approach some of our coaches to approach their students tomorrow morning when they go into the practice room.
So you are asking what's their pre-match, how they can help to create a pre-match routine?
Correct, yeah. Just starting tomorrow, if they don't have it in place yet. Okay,
they don't have it in place yet. I would say that what would be important to, if you're a coach, to create a performance profile and with your athletes and see where they are at, different factors like regarding their physical skills, technical skills, mental skills, and also regarding strategy. And if you want to work on the mental skills, because that's kind of like basically it's not trained that much, unfortunately, but it's a very important part. It would be important to prepare them, like talk over with them what are their strengths, right? Because they want to play on their strengths when they are playing an important match. So how you can help your player increase his or her confidence level. I think that's very important. I heard from many athletes that they don't want some, even when I work with different sports, that, oh, I just don't want that coach to coach me, or, you know. So it's very important. You have a huge impact on your players. So you want to encourage them and also give them confidence, and also directing their focus on the right things. So I would say that's very important. Also, I don't know if it depends on how old the players are. But even, just make sure that they have enough a practice time before the match, they have enough sleep, right? Like these are very basic things. And also you can also help them to remember their best performance. That's also very helpful. And also help them to know what's their A game, right? What is their game plan, and also make sure that when they are playing, that they are not rushing, right? That's a very common thing, especially with kids. I'm pretty sure everyone's seen that. The point ends and they are running the ball after the ball and running back. There is no even between point time. So again, it depends on if we are talking lower level, higher level, right? But basically give them a foundation. That would be very important. Even what I shared today, you can start with that, right? So have regarding the mental game, like self-talk, focus, breathing, visualization. These are very basic tools that can be helpful for the players. And also create some routines for them, but that can be very individualized. And regarding even the coaching style, you have to know your players, because some players they need different things when you're coaching them.
Yeah,
I don't know if that was kind of like I know it was a little bit long answer, but I would say what I shared today, you can get started with that. And how I said, first step is awareness. See what works for your athlete and what doesn't. And what you can also do with them is basically do some reflections, like what worked, what didn't work, and what you can do differently next time, even during practice and even after tournaments. But again, a pre-performance routine and a performance routine during the matches are very important, and it includes nutrition, hydration, and other things as well.
Yeah, and I think the biggest one for me then is don't start the day before the competition, but start tomorrow. And so that's really the most important. I think it's a training that you just need to include in your training, your tactical training or in your physical training at the same time. And I think that's what you said to with your presentation here. And there's one more question before we round up from Edmund. If self-talk doesn't work in the match, what should I do?
Oh, well, it's like a muscle. So, but that's the thing. It's not just a match. You have to start working on it every day. So it's not just a match. Oh, I'm playing a match, I will work on it. No. You have to basically self-talk that you work daily, basically. And little by little. I would say that what can be very helpful for you, just start writing down affirmations. So affirmation is basically you want to create positive statements for yourself. So you want to train how you train your body. You want to train your mind that you want to say positive things to yourself, not to beat up yourself. But again, you have to train that. So if it's not working in a match, no worries, it happens, and but you want to train that daily and also during practice as well. And the first step would be to do that, maybe to create like even a log to yourself that notice when you're saying negative things to yourself. And after come up with strategies that how you can change those moments.
Hey, thank you very much, Dora, and thanks everyone for joining us. A little side thing here. So I have a few signed books from Dora, and how about we're gonna give one away? Yay, let's do it. Dora, maybe you have a question, and something from today that people should have an answer of, and maybe we'll put it out there, and whoever answers first wins. How about that?
Okay, sure. So, question: what are the 4 R's?
What are the 4 R's?
Four
Write them in the
R's.
chat.
4,
4
yes.
R's,
What
yeah.
are the 4 R's? I can write it in the chat.
Whoever
Yeah.
writes them first in the chat wins a signed book by Dora. Da, 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 da. Oh, what are the 4 R's? It's now we're putting people on the spot.
If you remember.
If you remember. Everybody's Googling Dora now.
Okay, yes, you can Google it. Reaction. Okay, very good. There is one more. The last one, but yes. And the last one is when you serve or serve, receive.
Recover.
Yes. That was a teamwork.
That's teamwork, yes. Okay, I think that's I think Karine should get one. I think so. What do you think, Dora?
Yes, I think so.
And Karine can say thank you very much to admin, as she says here. So perfect. Thank you very much, everyone. I put into the locker, so thanks for participating today. And in your coaching certification program, the National Coaching Certification Program, you will receive a credit for today participating. And we have 2 more webinars coming up. One will be on develop your game face routine. That will be December 4th, same time. And then develop your healthy lifestyle choices will be February 5th. Next to those webinars, we also have engagement sessions, and how that will look like is Dora will talk for about 15 minutes about a topic quickly, and then we just open it up and everybody can participate in and can talk about it, can ask different questions if it's not about the topic. So we just talk a little bit about mental performance in general and the topic itself. Dora, do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, it's if you have also anything that you would like to discuss, that's a good time. And I think also just having this Q&A at answering questions, I think it's very beneficial for everyone. So it's a very conversational discussion, and yes, I would highly recommend to everyone to come.
Thank you very much. And I added the link here. If you want to click it, you can see the times and everything else, and then you can join us. If you have any other questions, just send them to me. You have my email address, and then we can see that we can bring them up as well. It's coming together as a group to learn more and utilize this wonderful human Dora and pick her brain and make a change in your practice. So yeah, thanks everyone for participating. Thanks, Dora, for being who you are and helping and supporting us.
Thank you for having me.
And hopefully we'll see you all very soon. So thank you very much, everyone.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank you, Dora. Thank you,
and
everyone.
the questions.
You.